in wrestling right here. Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. It ain't no doubt. It ain't no doubt. Flair, bring that old cashmere coat out here.
Can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Midday Lunch Crew. Of course, Rod will be here in a minute, but I am your host, Chris Dietz from Fit Down Sports and from Setting the Scene. So on the show today, we'll be talking NFL Draft, we'll be talking NBA playoffs, and we'll be kicking off a whole bunch of other stuff that we can get to. But, of course, we'll start with the big news of the weekend, which was the NFL Draft. And the first round went it was a mixed bag. I would say. I think the first couple picks went according to plan, and then all of a sudden, all hell started to break loose, and you saw teams making weird trades, and like teams trading up one spot, because they were afraid somebody else was going to trade up ahead of them, so they would move up just one spot, giving up like fourth round picks just to get that one spot up. It was really weird. I mean, the Eagles did it. The Giants did it. You had teams like the Arizona Cardinals move back and then move up, and it was all sorts of craziness going on. But as far as actual drafting, I talked about this on another show, on the draft show. We talked about Jahmyr Gibbs and the Detroit Lions pick. Well, they made that pick look a lot better when they moved DeAndre Swift after the draft. So the Lions went from a pick that didn't make any sense to a pick that makes a lot of sense when you factor in what they were doing. As far as teams that didn't make any sense, Green Bay, again, you've been trying. Green Bay has been trying to get away with this for years, and they've been able to get away with not drafting wide receivers because they had Brett Favre, because they had Aaron Rodgers. Well, now you've got Jordan Love, and you don't draft a wide receiver. I don't understand that. I don't understand this trying to go in with second tier wide receivers. If you don't have a quarterback, that can elevate your wide receivers, why go in? Why wouldn't you go out and get a top level wide receiver? There were plenty on the board. I don't understand what Seattle was doing. Seattle, with the 5 pick, goes out and gets Devin Witherspoon, a guy who, yeah, he was great at the combine, but you watch him on tape, there's plenty of better corners out there. At least that I thought. So they get him at 5, and then they get Jackson Smith and Jigba later on at 20 in the first round. Two picks that, as an evaluator, I didn't understand. And I'm not a big Jackson Smith and Jigba guy. Some people were. Some people had him as the top guy on the board. Well, he was the first wide receiver taken. So he was high on Seattle's board, apparently. I had a lot of other guys ahead of him, and those guys happened to go right after him. But, as far as what Seattle did, I didn't see it. Excuse me. I didn't see it as much of a positive. Now, as for taking care of the draft, breaking this down, Carolina did what they were supposed to do. A lot of people wanted them to take CJ Stroud, wanted them to take Bryce Young. He's too small. He's, at his size, he's going to get injured and this, that. You can't bank on injury. If you bank on injuries, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get yourself into trouble. So my theory on that is injury. If an injury is going to happen, it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your size. It doesn't matter what you are. Injuries are freak things. You can't plan for them. You got to take the guy who suits you best. And I think Carolina did that with Bryce Young. And Houston did a great job in this draft. That leaves Houston getting CJ Stroud. We knew that was going to happen. We knew CJ would be the second quarterback off the board. He ends up going 2. But Houston does Houston does the exact thing where they get CJ Stroud, but then they trade back up and they get the best player in the draft, Will Anderson, to add to that. So the whole debate of who to take at number 2 for Houston was really a non-debate because they end up trading back in. They end up trading back in to get Will Anderson. So I thought they did a good job. You keep going down the board. Anthony Richardson at 4 to Indianapolis. I don't understand it at all. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, what they were thinking because I have no idea. I know they fell in love with the athleticism of Anthony Richardson. I've heard people say, "Oh, this is the perfect spot because of the Philadelphia's offensive coordinator. He knows how to work. He's worked with Jalen Hurts." This myth about Jalen Hurts it's laughable. It's getting comical at this point. Look what this guy did with Jalen. Jalen Hurts could pass the football. Jalen Hurts is a guy who threw for nearly 4,000 yards in his final season in college. Jalen Hurts is a guy. A lot of people go back to Jalen Hurts' freshman year when he was a freshman at Alabama, and people say, "Oh, look, Jalen Hurts couldn't pass the ball." Well, what did Jalen Hurts do in the SEC championship game against Georgia? When Tua Tagovailoa couldn't move the ball down the field, what happened in that SEC championship game against Georgia? Jalen Hurts moved the football by passing it. He didn't move it by running. He was not a running quarterback in college. He was a quarterback that could run, but he could throw. Goes to Oklahoma, where Oklahoma doesn't run they don't run that kind of offense. Their offense is built on throwing the football. So if you don't think he was an accurate passer, Lincoln Riley wouldn't have brought him in. Wouldn't have gotten him to where to the spot the spots that he was in. He wouldn't have been runner up for the Heisman that year. I mean, what are we doing here? So to compare Anthony Richardson to Jalen Hurts is putting way too much on Anthony Richardson and not giving enough credit to what Jalen Hurts is, because Jalen Hurts is a far better player than Anthony Richardson. And just for a comparison of this, I never saw Jalen Hurts throw for less than 200 yards. When he was at Oklahoma, go look at his stats. He did not throw for less than 200 yards. Anthony Richardson had 2 games where his passing stats were less than 100 yards. That tells me this guy struggles throwing the football. Not only does he struggle throwing the football, but he struggles to read when to throw the football. His first read is, the ball, it's not there, I'm going to run. Well, you can't live that way in the NFL. The NFL is begging you to do that. They're begging you to run. And you can't win that way. So that one didn't make sense. I talked about number 5 with Devin Witherspoon. Arizona trades back up. They get Paris Johnson, the offensive tackle. The debate before the draft was Paris Johnson or Peter Skronsky. And I always said this, Paris Johnson has the bigger upside, but Peter Skronsky is the better, more polished at the moment. So for me, I would always want to get the guy who's more polished right now, because we know what happens. Potential gets people fired, and so that's something always to look at. So that's something I looked at there. I love what Atlanta did getting Bijan Robinson, even though people say, running backs it's no longer a running back league. Well, you got Bijan Robinson going 8, and he fits what Atlanta needed. Atlanta, people said, I just got to go back to the draft room chats of people saying Atlanta already has a running back. They have Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson's not a running back. He's a wide receiver that can't catch the ball, so they have to put him on the field somewhere. He can't run between the tackles. You turn around. Everybody said, Cordero Patterson, you can't give him the ball on 3rd and 2 and expect him to pick up a first down. He's a guy that you're going to give the ball to on a sweep and maybe an outside zone play. You're not going to bang him. You're not going to bang him between the guards and expect him to get a first down when everybody knows you're going to run.
He's also a special team ace, so we can't discredit him as a player. He can play great special teams. That's what he got in the league for, special teams.
Yeah, he's a special teams guy. Like I said, he's a wide receiver that can't catch. That's his whole career. That's what he's been. He can't catch passes, so you have to put him on the field somewhere, so they put him at running back. And they hope that he can catch pitches. Like that's how they use him. But they don't use him. They can't use him to bang between the tackles. He'll get absolutely murdered. So picking up Bijan Robinson, this gives you a guy that you can run up in between the tackles. This is a guy who can do all those things. So it was a good pickup. I like that pick for Atlanta. Philadelphia killed the draft. Philadelphia nailed the draft.
What grade do you give them?
I give them an A right now. Now, my grading process at this point, because we're just after the draft, and I know there's some people out there that are looking for, A through F. They're looking for the high school grades that you're going to give people. I don't do that. I go A, B, or C, and A means you got talent, you got the best talent, and you got a position that filled you. A B grade is you filled a position, but I thought there were better players out there. And a C means you took somebody that I have absolutely no idea why you took them. That you took somebody, and the reason I go A, B, and C is because the draft is about 3 years. If in 3 years a guy drops off, In 3 years, you could have an A draft become an F draft. You could have a C draft become an A draft because somebody does something that we didn't expect. But at this point, I only give out A, Bs, or Cs. And Philadelphia gets an A. I mean, you drafted 2 Georgia defensive players in the first round. You're going to get an A on that. You can't go wrong drafting Georgia defense. And the fact that they got Nolan Smith at 30, that was a steal. Like, how he kept falling, I have no idea. And so Philadelphia made out like bandits. They got Jalen Carter, who some people had as the best player in the draft, clearly the best defensive tackle. I mean, Philadelphia is just defensive tackles now. They have 3 great defensive tackles, and 2 of them are going to be there for a long time with Jordan Davis and now Jalen Carter. So
I think that was a great move because they lacked that in the Super Bowl, getting to the QB. And, a lot of these guys got great, bend to, tack the offensive line and then get underneath the offensive line. They cause pressure on the quarterback. So that's what they needed. That's what they was lacking in that Super Bowl. They couldn't get no pressure on Patty Mahomes.
Yeah, and now they're going to have that, especially with Jalen Carter. That's what he does. He does that from the middle better than anybody. And now you got a guy on the outside in Nolan Smith who can line up. He can put his hand in the dirt. He can back up and play some linebacker. So he's a good guy. I know people were scared because he got injured last year because he missed some time. He's a good football player.
And also they got the right veterans out there to teach him too. Fletcher Cox, Graham, all that talent, Pro Bowlers, So you get to learn from the best. That's going to help them, help their growth to improve, in the rookie seasons, to learn from that kind of teaching.
Yeah. As far as teams that got better in this draft, I think, I think really the team that pushed themselves, obviously we just talked about Philadelphia. Buffalo, I think Buffalo getting Dalton Kincaid really boosted their offense.
I don't think they need that, though. I thought they needed some more. I think they needed a running back, a quality running back, because we all know Damian Harris can't catch out of the backfield. He got hands as bricks, So I feel like they should have got better at the running back position. That tight end is nice, but Knox don't get the ball enough right now. So how's that going to work out? You got Gabriel. Gabriel Davis.
You're up in Buffalo. You can run 2 tight. You can run 2 tight ends. You can put 2 tight ends on the field. This can happen, and having 2 tight ends will help open up the running game. So. But we'll see. You're right. You're right in that they needed a running back, but I really don't think they didn't need to stretch for one. I think Dalton Kincaid just gives them another weapon that they can that they can play around with. So
what about the I like the moves, but also a move that I think was really underrated by the GM of the Eagles, DeAndre Swift. Like, we all know who he is. We all know who he is, a bad guy.
I said that. Getting funny. They get DeAndre Swift. Where did he go?
Sanders.
Where did he go to school? Georgia. Philadelphia just becoming Georgia North.
Yeah, him and Chubb, Sony Michel's. That was a crazy backfield when he was there at Georgia.
Yeah. So they're doing. Philadelphia's doing pretty good, staying on brand. I think Minnesota got better. I mean, you lost Adam Thielen. You replace him with Jordan Addison. I think Jordan Addison has a chance to be the best wide receiver out of this class.
I think so too.
We saw him 2 years ago. He was the best wide receiver. Mm-hmm. And then he goes to USC, and all he does is help Caleb Williams win the Heisman. Caleb Williams does not win the Heisman Trophy without Jordan Addison being in USC. being at USC, being a Trojan. So I didn't understand why he was so far down people's lists. This is a good player, and the numbers he put up at Pitt are amazing.
With Kenny Pickett.
With Kenny Pickett, but I mean, it was Pittsburgh. Like, help Pittsburgh win an ACC. Like, who does that? And then he just goes on to USC, does what he did at USC. So he's done all the things that he needed to do. So I think, and you put him on the other side of Justin Jefferson. Well, the coverage is gonna roll to Justin Jefferson. And then you got Jordan Addison on the other side, and you got TJ Hawkinson in the middle. So who you can't double team all three of them. You got to double team one of them, and the other two are going to be one-on-one matchups. So I think Jordan Addison landed in a good spot. He landed, and the only problem with Minnesota is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is your quarterback. So have fun with that, but he's got the weapons to succeed. The other team I thought that did really well in this draft, and we can say this not just on draft day, but that Thursday, by securing the deal with Lamar Jackson, but by what they did in this draft, there's no excuses anymore. There's no excuse for Lamar Jackson anymore. I don't want to hear Baltimore fans anymore saying, oh, we don't have the weapons. You have the weapons now. You have Andrews at tight end. You have Odell Beckham. You have the Rashid Bateman last year. Now you drafted Zay Flowers. You got the guys. You brought in all the guys that you needed around Lamar Jackson. There's no excuse. There's no excuse anymore.
I had some people, I had an argument with on social media, doesn't think Zay Flowers is going to be a great receiver in the league. What's your thoughts about that?
Do I think he'll be a great receiver? No, I don't. And at the spot that they drafted him, I thought they should have gone. I thought they should have gone Addison, and of course Addison went the pick right after Zay Flowers. But Zay Flowers fits Baltimore. He's a physical guy. He can block. He's a guy. He's a guy that that will help Lamar Jackson in the running game. So his style fits Baltimore better than some of these other wide receivers that were on the board. So I understand picking Zay Flowers because he fits Baltimore better than he would another team. But that being said, I don't think he's not going to be Justin Jefferson. He's not going to be one of these elite guys, but he is a decent enough player. He'll and especially being across from Bateman, having Odell Beckham, having Andrews, he's a pretty good third option. When you look at that passing game, I mean, he's almost the fourth option when you look at that passing game. So I think he fits for Baltimore.
I think he'd be perfect for like crossing routes, stuff like that, real quick routes. I don't think you want to put him really deep, necessarily outside like that. What's your thoughts about that?
No, he's got the speed. He's got the speed. He's got the speed to go deep. The problem is he's not a guy you could throw you can't throw him a 50-50 ball.
Nah, and
I think he's something like 6 foot. I think he's like 6 feet. And that might be, he might be barely 6 feet.
Is he good off the press? I really haven't been watching like a lot of
no, he like I said, he's a physical wide receiver, which is why he fit for Baltimore. So he is okay. He's okay with the press coverage. The thing is he doesn't have that burst speed.
Okay.
So when you get him in the press coverage, he doesn't have that burner speed. He can get by you. Yeah, any wide receiver can run by you, But if you knock him off, he's not going to start and stop. He's not.
Oh.
If you stop his momentum, he's not going to all of a sudden burst right by you. Like it takes him a while to get going. He's not one of these 0 to 60 guys. He's more of like, kick it, shift into gear, shift third gear, shift fourth gear, and hit it. But as far as ball, like I said, he fits Baltimore, so I have no problem with them taking Zay Flowers.
But it's another player I love the move by him signing an unsigned rookie free agent deal with is Stetson Bennett to the Rams. I love that move, man. What's your thoughts about that?
I'm surprised. It probably the best thing for like we were talking about on our post draft thing. Instead of being a 7th round pick and being tied into it, some of these guys, their best thing is become an undrafted free agent. You get to pick your spot and you get to go to the right spot. I mean, is there anything better? You go to the Rams, you're going to sit behind Matthew Stafford and a guy who has had injury problems since the Super Bowl. We know that. So you might get on the field early, but you don't have to get on the field. And you have a coach in Sean McVay who knows how to groom quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I mean, you go through Sean McVay's career and look at the quarterbacks. Look at the quarterbacks he's made. I mean, the guy brought Jared Goff to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
crazy. That says he knows how to use a quarterback. So Stetson Bennett, I think, landed in the right spot. A lot of these guys landed in the right spot.
So, I even like the Hayden Hooker to Detroit, man. I think Jared Goff maybe maybe another 2 years at Detroit. You know what I mean? Maybe a year. Hayden can take over the job. You know what I mean? I think that's a good spot for him getting drafted.
Well, I think a lot of people are looking way too far into that. Jared Goff is going to be if Jared Goff continues on the success that he had last year, Jared Goff's not going anywhere.
So I don't think he's a franchise.
We'll sit there and say, Jared Goff, we're gonna set sails with Jared Goff. I mean, if Jared Goff continue, like I said, if he continues on the success of last year, where the Detroit Lions were a game away from the playoffs. Mm-hmm. How long has it been since we said that? Now you've got an NFC North that is wide open as far as, Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers isn't there anymore for Green Bay. Chicago is a dumpster fire.
I think they got better in that draft, though. I'll give them a B.
I think they got better. I think it's more like the fire's not raging out of control, But they're still Chicago's still a mess on both. They're a mess on both sides of the ball. So Chicago's not there. Minnesota, yes, they got better, but Minnesota's not they're not a team I look at and go, well, they can't. I mean, just look what happened to them against the Giants in the playoffs. So, Minnesota is not some dominant team. Detroit is right. Detroit's right there. If Detroit continues, if Jared Goff leads Detroit to a playoff, and God forbid a playoff victory, which Detroit hasn't seen, I think I think they have the longest streak right now of years between a playoff victory. I think it's at something like 37 or something like that. If Jared Goff is able to do that, there's no way you could sit there, even if you're a fan and you don't like Jared Goff. If he wins Detroit a playoff game, you can't sit there and go, you know what, he won us a playoff game, we're moving on. So Jared Goff, as long as he continues to progress, if he does the things that he's supposed to do, then he's going to be there a while. So, but Hendon Hooker he's in a good spot. He can learn from these guys. You'll get to see him in preseason games. You'll get to see him if Jared Goff goes down. He's a dependable guy. So
But I have a question.
And I think Detroit knows that going in, because the reason Hendon Hooker fell, we all know, it's the injury.
Yeah, the knee.
So now he's got time. He's got time to recover from that. He doesn't have to be pushed into action. So it's not a bad fit on both ends.
So what grade do you give your Cowboys in this draft, man? Because I thought it was really cool that the scout, I forgot Vaughn, I forgot his first name, drafted his scouted his son and got his son drafted by the Cowboys.
Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn was a great pick late in the draft to get a guy in Deuce Vaughn. I think Deuce Vaughn will be more of a special teams player for the Cowboys. He's not. You look at him and Tony Pollard; they're kind of the same running back, where it's speed and. I still think they need another running back. I still think they need a pounder as far as a running back goes. They need somebody who can, like I said with the Falcons, you need somebody on 3rd and 2 that you can run behind the guard and they're going to fall forward for a couple of yards. Mm-hmm. And Tony Pollard's not that guy. Deuce Vaughn's not going to be that. Deuce Vaughn is like 5'8", 170. So he's not going to bang. He's not going to be banging in there with Jordan Davis at 6'6", 320. So I think that's still where the Cowboys have to go. I give the Cowboys an A right now, though. They look. I love the Mazi Smith pick. I love the potential for Mazi Smith is off the charts. This guy is.
We don't draft him potential.
The potential for him to be a very, very good player is high. He comes in as a good player already. He was a great player. You watched that Michigan defense last year. He was able to stir up a lot. And I mean, I don't have my notes and I don't have my book in front of me, but when I was looking at him, he's 6'6", 320. You can't teach that. And for him at that, when you watch him move, he moves like he's an outside pass rusher. And at the size he is, so that's why I like that pick. But I also like what the Cowboys did getting. I mean, they basically are becoming Michigan South. I mean, getting Schoonmaker from Michigan at tight end. Now, I thought they could have gotten some other tight ends at that spot. But the funny thing is, when I looked at Schoonmaker, I said, this guy is Dalton. He's Dalton Schultz. And where did Dalton Schultz play? Dallas. So they draft a guy who fits a guy that they already had. So I like that pick. Again, I like some of the other picks late for the Cowboys. So I think the Cowboys did a good job. They assessed their needs, and they got some players that I think, like I said, right now I'm giving them an A. Now, if Mazi Smith doesn't turn out to be the player that I think he's going to be, obviously the grade will change. But that'll be 3-4 years down the road. We're not going to, when we sit here and do draft grades, it's not about how good the team is. It's did your team get better Thursday and Friday, and did you get guys on Saturday that can fill out your roster? That's how you judge. That's how you should be judging the draft. Now, that's not how everybody judges the draft. You should be judging on, did your team get better? If your team got better, then you should feel positive about your draft. If your team did not get better, then you need to start asking yourself, what in the hell are we doing? Like, if you're the New York Jets and you drafted a linebacker for no reason, I don't know what to tell you, New York. The Jets, I don't know what the hell the Jets were doing on draft day. I think they were just delirious from the fact that they got Aaron Rodgers and they just didn't know what the hell they were doing.
And I think that was crazy, but what they did, but they win the Super Bowl. Everybody, Jeff is think they're going to win the Super Bowl, so I can't talk to them right now. They all think they're going to win the Super Bowl, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be Super Bowl MVP already. He's going to beat Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead, and he's going to be smoking Jerry Burrows. So I don't know. But, man, it was some players. I think it's the exodus of FCS players going to try to work themselves into these FBS schools, man, because you look at what the FCS did in the draft. A lot of players didn't get drafted. So you know what I mean? I think that's going to start happening where the FCS is about to become like a 2-year JUCO minor league. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, it already is. You're seeing a lot of these guys hit the transfer portal. It's like, you know, do you want to go to Georgia, red shirt for a year, sit behind a guy for your freshman year and not play till your sophomore year? Or do you want to go to a FCS? Do you want to go to, you know, an HBC school or one of these FCS Division I AA schools? Do you want to go to those? Go there, start, you know, play your 1 year at the JUCO level, hit the transfer portal, then go to a place like a Florida State or an LSU, and go that route. Go to some of these schools that don't. I mean, you saw it from Lincoln Riley last year. Guy brought in 25 transfers to USC. So I think that's what you're going to start seeing is guys going to the FCS, making their mark. Then they go to a big name program, play another year, and then make the jump to the NFL. I think that's going to be the progression of high school, FCS, playing the bowl champions, playing the BCS schools, and then make that jump to the NFL.
And that's why I told somebody, I was talking on social media. I said, man, the biggest reason why Bill Belichick drafted Isaiah Bolden, because the special teams, he's a great punt returner, great kick returner. Also, you can't teach 6'2", 205.
Mm-hmm.
And as a corner, you can't teach that. You know what I mean? He's a good slot corner. He's a solid, and he had FBS experience. He was at Florida State. He played a couple seasons at Florida State, and then he went to Jackson State. So it's a difference. You know what I mean?
You're talking about a guy who is a 6'2" corner who played at Jackson State, played cornerback at Jackson State, where his head coach was Deion Sanders. So he's got – I'm pretty sure he got good coaching at the cornerback position. You know, you can say a lot about Deion Sanders. You could, you know, we're going to keep an eye on Deion as he goes to Colorado. There's one thing you can say about Deion. He knows how to play corner. Right? Does Deion know how to run, how to play quarterback, how to run in offense? Sure, we'll find that out. The one thing we do know is Deion knows corner. So you get a corner who was coached by Deion Sanders, you're in good shape.
So you know what I mean. So I like the move, man. I'm proud they got drafted. Another Jackson State player got drafted. You know what I mean? Because look, I feel like I told you in the beginning, of Midday Sports. I think James Houston is going to have a real great solid year this year. You know what I mean? But because he knows how to get underneath the offensive linemen with his pass rush moves. So I think he's going to have a good solid year. But you know what I mean? For my draft personally for the Patriots, I give them a C-, maybe a B-. You know what I mean? I think we got too many guards. Hopefully they versatile, can play other positions. But I love the Jake Andrews move because, like I said, David Andrews always hurt. I would like to have got a running back, but I can understand that. You know what I mean? But and some of the receivers, what's the Burnay, whatever the guy's name from LSU? They said he got a lack of what they said he was not consistent at LSU, just going through the motions, and he was lacking the worth.
He's a guy. he's a guy that has awesome talent.
Mhm.
The talent is there. Everything that holds him back is between his head. So you just gotta have a team that can. You gotta have a guy who can motivate him and guys around him that can pick him up. And so that's why he fell. That's why he fell to the spot that he did in the draft. That's why you saw last year games where he had games where he would take over the game and then all of a sudden fade away. So I think I agree with you. I think the Patriots. I give the Patriots a B.
I love the Christian Gonzalez move though. Looking at him, looking at his tape, we needed that. You know what I mean? We need somebody's that height. Because Jonathan Jones last year, he was getting cooked by Diggs bad.
The Christian Gonzalez is a tough one. Is a tough one for me. That's pretty much why I give the Patriots a B, because I have Christian Gonzalez as a B. The Patriots, did they necessarily need a corner? No, but
I think they did.
But he was the best player on the board at that spot. So they got the best player. Could the Patriots have used that pick to get somebody else? Maybe. Christian Gonzalez, again, these cornerbacks, they just started going. And you look at guys like Emmanuel Forbes, and like I said, with Devin Witherspoon,
Deonte Banks.
Deonte Banks. I mean, all these guys went before Joey Porter. I was surprised Joey Porter was still on the board. Eli Ricks was on the board. Kaylee Ringo was still on the board. Like these guys, and they all fell.
What about that corner that went to University of Miami? Did you see anything? Which I think he went to University of Miami. He was at a different school. I think he was like a 6'2" corner. I think they got him like a 7th round. He went to the Dolphins, but they said he's like a diamond in the rough. But anyway, did you watch any of Marte Boo at Sacramento State? I never watched. He looked like undersized. He looked kind of undersized.
Yeah, he looks like a Bill Belichick type linebacker, undersized. And a lot of people said that about Dante Hightower too. So we'll see. And again, that's one of those things. I look at it, and that's a Bill Belichick special. Like, hey, Sacramento State, let's take this guy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. We definitely need a kicker. So I like that Chad Ryland pick. You know what I mean. But I didn't watch no City So. I didn't watch no tape about him at Eastern Michigan. So it's definitely going to see, man, what's going to happen with this team, man. But I like the upside. I like to see what happens with this Amir Speed. He's 6'3" too. So I like them. You know, I like that Bill drafting these bigger, you know what I mean, corners, because, you know what I mean, you got to get bigger corners. You can't be running with no 5'5" guys, man, no more.
Absolutely.
In the corner position.
Absolutely, and I think that's the thing. As long as you can walk away, that's the greatness of the draft. Is as long as you can walk away, looking at your team and saying, "All right, we got guys who make our team better." Then you have to be happy with your draft. You have, if you can say that about your team, then your team had a good draft. Whether it's an A plus, B, whatever the grade is, the grade is. Did my team get better? Do I like the guys that they drafted? And can I get behind them? That's it. That's all the draft is, because a draft grade, a grade sitting here on Monday, May 2nd means absolutely jack shit.
So why do you think they
That's what it means.
Why do you think they signed Malik Cunningham? Like that pick right there as an unsigned rookie free agent surprised me, man. They gave him
because why not?
Money.
What
200K, 30K bonus.
What else? And there's not much. I mean, you sign up a guy like Malik Cunningham, you bring him in, and you say, and you see what you got in him. I mean, he's not going to be the star. He's not going to unseat Mac Jones. He's not going to take Bailey Zapp's job as the backup quarterback. So you have him on the roster as a third stringer. Look at all the things that happened last year. How many times did just go look at San Francisco where they had to go to their third string quarterback. It never hurts to have a guy like that. Malik Cunningham does have a lot of talent. He showed a lot. He played at Louisville, which is a pass happy offense.
So he got a better arm than Richardson, you think?
Huh?
You think he got a better arm than Richardson?
He's more accurate. He's definitely a more accurate passer. He's a better all-around quarterback than Anthony Richardson is. Okay. Now, Anthony Richardson is a far better athlete. There's no question about that. But as a quarterback, Malik Cunningham throws a better ball, and that's what you need from a quarterback. You don't need a quarterback that can run around and do all those things. That's why I was never big on Anthony Richardson, and why I'm not. And any of these guys that I've said I'm not big on, I tell this story all the time. I tell it all the time on Fit Down Sports Show. Anytime we talk about Josh Allen, I was wrong. I didn't believe in Josh Allen when he got drafted. I said it on the air. I said I hope he does well, but I don't think he will. He's shot. He's exceeded my expectations. And I will say that every time I talk about Josh Allen, is a guy that exceeds my expectations. Am I sitting here saying, I hope Anthony Richardson has a bad career? No. I hope Anthony Richardson shocks the world and comes out and is a really good player. And if he does, every single time he does something good, I will say, man, I was wrong. I'm happily wrong about guys who are that good. Now, at the same boat, you got guys like Jamarcus Russell, where people said, "Oh, he's going to be great." I don't want Anthony Richardson to have a Jamarcus Russell type career. I want everybody to be as good as they can be. It makes the league more fun. I'm just sitting here telling you, I don't see Anthony Richardson. I see him as an athlete, not a quarterback.
Can we say about Jamarcus Russell, man? That team was trash before him.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
That team was trash before him, and it was even worse. It was even worse when he left. That's the thing about him. They were bad. They were bad when they drafted him, and they were worse off after him. And that's the only thing you can say about it. I mean, Jamarcus got in a bad spot, but he was not a good quarterback to begin with.
Let's move on. Let's go to the NBA playoffs, man. Let's start on the East. Man, you think Jimmy Butler is going to play game 2, or you think he's going to be out, man?
I think if I'm the Miami Heat, I would probably hold Jimmy Butler. I would probably hold Jimmy Butler out of game 2. Okay. You already did your job. You won game 1. You did your job. You won a game in New York. You stole home court.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the upside? What's the upside here? The upside to putting Jimmy Butler out there is we win game 2. Okay. Mm-hmm. What if you put Jimmy Butler out there and he injures himself further, and now he's out for the rest of the series, when you could have sat him for a game? Yeah, you lose it. The series is 1-1, but we're going back to Miami, and we have Jimmy Butler give him that extra time to get healthy. The upside is way better than the downside. I mean, the downside is he re-injures himself and he's out for the rest of the playoffs.
Also, I got to put some respect.
They can't survive long term. They could survive a game, or they could survive a game without Jimmy Butler. They can't survive a whole series.
But I also got to put some respect on Julius Randle. Man, they need him. They need him. Him and Bronson need to work off each other, because this team is a completely different team without Julius Randle. You can say one thing about Julius Randle. He's a scorer, and he can give you 25.
Yeah.
He can give you 25 in seconds. You know what I mean? That's how much of a bucket he is, man. This team looks completely different. I can see why Obi Toppins is on the bench. You know what I mean? He lacks that shot.
Well, and Julius Randle opens the floor. You have to respect him, and you have to have other guys watching him. That opens the floor for shooters like RJ Barrett. You know, when Julius isn't on the floor, you don't have your guys don't, they're not as far away they can stay tighter to RJ Barrett, and those shooting lanes are a lot tighter. So Julius Randle.
I always thought Barrett was like a number 2, like a number 3 option. Like I don't think he can be a 2 option or number 1 option in the offense.
Yeah. But the like I said, the Heat did their job, stole game 1, stole a game in New York. Now it's on the Knicks to win game 2, and then it's on the Knicks to steal home court back. So it's only game 1. Everybody needs to relax.
So let's move along to your Celtics versus the Sixers, man. I love this rivalry, man. Going back in the day, man, this used to be a fun rivalry to watch.
Game one tonight. This would be a fun series to watch.
I heard Embiid's gonna be out though.
But Embiid's out. But without Embiid, the Sixers don't stand a chance.
Especially not if Tatum and Brown's averaging 27, 30 points, and
if they're dropping 61, if they're dropping 61 combined, nobody's touching the Celtics if that's happening.
And but the thing is, we've seen Williams off the backboard too.
We've seen the Celtics. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. It happens all the time. That's why I'm saying Celtics in 5. But if Embiid's not going to play, if Embiid's not going to play, this could easily be a sweep.
Okay. All right, let's move along to the West, man. This game is surprising me, man. I told people in the beginning, the Suns cannot make it without a rotation, man. And Kevin Durant was doing his thing. He had 29, 14, but I feel like the Suns missed their opportunity to get rid of that guy named Aiden. DeAndre Aiden. Because he doesn't play with any heart a lot of the games. He doesn't want to crash the board. He's not consistent scoring. He's a waste of space.
And you look at what they got. The Nuggets are going to do what the Nuggets are going to do. They're going to pull him out all the time. They're just going to give the ball to the Joker and make DeAndre. They're not going to let DeAndre Ayton just hang out under the rim and play under the rim defense. They're going to make him guard. They're going to make him guard Joker way out past the 3-point line.
The Joker was giving facials all game. He was giving facials all game.
Yeah, because when you have a guy like the Joker who's that big, well, you can't put a guard on him because he'll just maul him. And you can't put a guy like DeAndre Ayton on him because DeAndre Ayton will get burnt every time. So this is a bad matchup. It's a bad matchup for the Suns, and the Nuggets are a matchup nightmare for anybody.
Yeah, you got, like we said this in the beginning of the season. They got one of the deepest rotations in the league. You know what I mean? You got Caldwell Pope. You got Bruce Brown. You got all these players coming off this bench. You got Aaron Gordon. You got Michael Otto Porter. You got too many lengthy guys. And when Murray's scoring 29, his jumper's wet. There's not too much you can do with that team, man. You got an old Chris Paul and Devin Booker. That's not gonna be enough. You can't play 3 against 8. Like, you can't do it. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. But I feel like this might go about maybe 5 or 6, maybe.
Kevin Durant's good enough to get this team to get this to 6 games, but I don't think they're going to be. I think they'll get 2. I think they'll get 2. But I think it'll be in the realm of, they're down 2-0. They get, they pulled it to 2-1. Denver takes a 3-1 lead. Then the Suns get game 5, and then the Nuggets finish it off in game 6. So
do you think?
I don't think it's going to be a competitive like back and forth.
Do you see Kevin Durant staying there for the long term? I can't see it.
I don't know. Has he? Did it get through his head? Hey, you can't do this on your own. Like you can't. I don't know. I don't know what the Brooklyn. I don't know what his takeaway. Because he hasn't commented on what The first question I would ask him is, what did you learn in Brooklyn? What did you learn from that? Mm-hmm. Because if you learned anything from that, then the takeaway should be is, let me stay in Phoenix and let's build around me, Devin Booker, and maybe Phoenix can ship out DeAndre Ayton and get a few other pieces in there that fit better with that team.
I think would be perfect for that team, man. Who's that backup? Like a Titus Jones, somebody's really smart with the ball. Because I think Chris Paul is done, man. I'm saying this. I'm sorry to say it, man. I think he's done. I think somebody like that, or you can go with. I think in Pryor they got that point guard from the Kings that can, that lockdown defender. What is his name? Davis? Not Davis. Mitchell.
Yeah,
you can get a guy like Mitchell to come. I feel like that could work, but I think Chris Paul is finished. But man, yes.
I mean, we've said this before. We said that people have said this about Chris Paul. They said this when he was in Houston, that Chris Paul was finished, and he went to Phoenix and got them to a finals and reinvigorated some of that life back in his career. I mean, I think he's on his last leg still, but I mean, eventually Father Time wins out, man.
It definitely do. But man, that's good. Let's move along to the Grizzlies, man. The Grizzlies and Lakers, man. You had the Lakers losing at 5. What you said, 5 or 6, right?
I said 6. I said it would be a 6-game series, and it was a 6-game series, just the other way around. And that game 6 was an absolute joke. I mean,
what you mean was
the Grizzlies didn't even show up.
Okay. I thought you meant something else, but okay.
No, game 6 was an absolute joke. The Grizzlies didn't show up. The Lakers took full advantage of that, and more power to them. And we talked about that. We talked about this off the air. I'll say this. I'll say this right now. You're talking to a Celtics fan, so I don't care about the Lakers at all. But the Celtics and Lakers they're different than every other NBA franchise.
But he had to win. He had to win this series, because if he didn't win the series, people like yourself and other people would have made tore LeBron up and the Lakers up if they didn't get past the Memphis Grizzlies. Would you say that?
I wouldn't tear them up. If they lost this series, I wouldn't sit here and go, I'm not that guy. If a 7 seed lost to a 2 seed, I wouldn't go, oh, see, that's LeBron. It's on LeBron that they lost. No, a 7 seed lost to a 2 seed. That's what's supposed to happen. Like it's not like he lost. Like anybody who comes into this series with the fact, anybody who comes out of this with, oh, the Warriors beat the Lakers, so that means LeBron's thinking, no. A 7 seed is playing a 5 seed or whatever the hell they are. The 7 seed team is not supposed to win. If the games are close, that is a remarkable feat. So that's something you have to look at now. Again, Celtics and Lakers are different. They're different. Every other team is happy with, hey, we won a round in the playoffs. Celtics fan like myself, did I celebrate after the Celtics beat the Hawks? No, because I don't care. All right, you beat the Hawks. That's what you're supposed to do. You're the Celtics. Am I going to celebrate the Celtics beating the 76ers? Yes, because it's our rival and because I hate everything Philadelphia. So, yeah, I will say, all right, we got by that. But I'm not going to sit here and go and celebrate the Celtics making the Eastern to a Celtics and a Lakers fan. The playoffs don't start until the conference finals.
But I'm going to celebrate.
That's when you start looking at your team and celebrating what they're doing. If they don't make the conference finals, it doesn't matter. Same thing with the Yankee fan. With Yankee, you think the Yankees care about winning a wild card game? No, they don't.
No,
Yankee fan does not.
You still should celebrate it because it was not even supposed to be in the playoffs.
Yeah,
they made the move, so that is something to celebrate. This team came out the mud. They was the 17th, ranking in the division. They moved from 17 to 7. So you got to celebrate that. That's it's hard to get out the mud when you're ranked 17 in your conference. So that is something to celebrate on that level. And I gotta give what's the GM's name? Fuck, I'm going blank. Rob Pelinka. I gotta give him praise with the moves he made and the players he got for Westbrook and Patrick Beverly. That was what you made. You made a shit sandwich to a diamond. I don't know how you did it, but be all praises to you. So we gotta celebrate that. But I think this Warrior series, I'm hoping for 6. Hey, the Lakers trying to get it in this matchup with the Warriors is pretty much pretty much a title series. I think so too, man.
The Nuggets still exist. The Nuggets still exist.
Man, but can we say this though, Dietz, man?
I'm not sitting here.
The Nuggets had an easy goal.
No, you can't sit there and say, "Oh, the Lakers Warriors is a title," because what that's saying is whoever wins this series is going to go on to the NBA Finals. No, the Nuggets are still sitting there. The Nuggets are still sitting there. They're still the class of the league right now.
But they had no adversity in this playoffs. So nobody's really, if they win this against the Suns, everybody gonna say, damn, they should have did it. You know what I mean? But Stephen Curry and LeBron James is must-see TV. It's better than that series right now.
Oh, it is. It's nobody's saying that. When you say it's a title series, when you say it's a title series, what you're saying is the winner of this series is guaranteed going on, and that's just not the case. Is this a marquee matchup? Absolutely. It's like you said, it's must-see TV when you've got Steph versus the Lakers, when you've got Steph versus LeBron, you've got everything for the making is right there. You got Draymond Green, and what craziness is he going to bring? You got Clay, Anthony Davis. The star power is there in this series. There's no question about that. But when you say this is the title, like that's basically saying whoever wins this series is moving on. And I'm sorry to say this, but the Denver Nuggets are the class of the Western Conference right now, and it's not even close.
What is your favorite rock group?
Rock group?
Yeah, of all time.
Oh, Metallica.
So it's like choosing Metallica or My Chemical Romance. Which one are you going to choose? Like that's My Chemical Romance, Denver Nuggets. You know what I mean? It's pretty, but it's not pretty. It's not Metallica. You know what I mean? That's what the series between the Warriors and the Lakers, man. It's gonna be must-see TV, man. And the storylines of the back and forth, you know what I mean, it's gonna be personal because LeBron lost to them how many times, Dietz? Could you walk encyclopedia?
How many times have they lost? How many times have they lost? Has LeBron lost to the Golden State Warriors? 3.
So how much extra, you know what I mean, energy you would think this game is going to be given, or for both sides?
Both sides
for that bragging rights.
You know,
about the playoffs.
We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this a little bit on Thursday. And we talked because we touched on it last series. We're gonna touch on it this time because this time it's gonna get amped up. This is gonna be amped up times 10. Okay, like LeBron wins. If LeBron wins, every game LeBron wins, it's gonna be see, LeBron's better than Steph. Every game the Warriors win, it's gonna be Steph fans going, see, LeBron can't handle Steph. It's just going to be ramped up to about 3,000. You're going to see all this. And I'm just sitting here to tell you, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. None of this, tune out and try to stay away from that stuff because all that, everybody's got their mind made up when they start that conversation of LeBron won. When the series is over, then we can have that discussion. I'm not doing it game by game of Lakers won game 1, so that means LeBron's better than Steph. Warriors win game 2. Warriors won game 2. That means Steph's better. No, I'm not doing it game by game. And I agree. I think this game. I think this series. I think this is going to be a long series. And
people already crowning Steph the greatest point guard of all time off that Game 7 performance. I don't think I can really put him that. I don't think he's a point guard. I argue people all the time.
If there's arguments for that, but not off that Game 7. I mean, if they're making that argument. If they're using that game as that's the thing that vaults Steph there, I question that because they already had Steph there. Steph was already there. That game seven in the first round. That's really that's the point where you went, Steph's really good. Like that. If that's the point, like. Why didn't you have it Game 7 against the Rockets when Steph dropped 50, when Steph dropped 36 in the third quarter alone? Like what are you talking about? Like if that game vaulted Steph from he was here, he was number 2, but because he did so well in 2023 round 1 Game 7, I'm gonna vault him up. No. You're lying. You're lying to your audience. You're lying to yourself. You already had Steph as number 1 before that game. So don't give me that. Don't give me that.
But let me say this though. I see something really interesting off my boy's channel, Rise Mix. I gotta give him his props because he had a clip of Draymond and Jordan Poole. Draymond trying to give Jordan Poole some dap after winning Game 7. And Jordan Poole still has got animosity for that knockout. I don't see Draymond coming back next year. What's your thoughts about that?
At this point, probably not. But I mean, what happens if Draymond plays a big role as far as defense? As far as what if he plays a big role and the Warriors go on a run? I mean. Go on a run here. What if the Warriors win it? What if the Warriors win a championship? I mean, what if the Warriors win a championship and Draymond? Even if they win, Draymond's not going to be the leading scorer. But what if Draymond is one of the leaders in that locker room of bringing them another championship? You're not going to, not going to break the band up. You're not going to break the band. You're not going to break. You're not going to break the band up in the midst of back to back. So I'm not going to have that discussion until we know where the Warriors are. Now, if the Warriors get knocked out in this round, if they get knocked out in the Western Conference Finals, I think those discussions will be had behind the scenes of should we bring Draymond back? Can we bring him back? Can we ship him? Can we ship him out? Can we do a sign and trade? What can we get back for a guy like Draymond Green? I think those conversations will definitely be had. However, like I said, if the Warriors win and go back to back, why would you break the band? Why would you break the band up when you got back-to-back championships? You're not gonna upset the establishment.
We've seen the movie before though, Dietz, when they broke the stars apart and they won a championship.
We have, but I mean, but they didn't win right. They didn't win right away.
So
they didn't win right away.
Let's move along to Dietz entertainment breakdown real quick. What's some stuff you're interested in seeing coming out? Also, what's some stuff you're kind of mad about? Your gears.
Well, what I'm excited about, and I just did this right before the show. I got my tickets for Guardians 3 for Saturday, so I'll be getting ready for the end of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I love what they're doing with Guardians. This is kind of the send off. It's going to be the final hurrah for pretty much this whole group, and so we'll see what it is. And of course, I'm going to see it on Saturday, like I said. So next week, Tuesday's show of Setting the Scene will be my review of Guardians of the Galaxy. So we'll get that going. We'll get that for that. But as far as this week goes, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Netflix documentary series. Cleopatra being played by an African American. Okay, fine. But you get it again, it's not about what happens, it's why. It's the why behind it. And you have people like Jada Pinkett Smith. Oh, we wanted to represent African American queens. Dear Jada Pinkett Smith, there are plenty of African American queens. You don't need to take someone. You don't need to race swap a real person. I can't stress this enough. There are plenty of stories. You can go into the mythos of African lore and find African queens and tell their stories. You don't need to take Cleopatra. Everyone has said, I've been looking at this ever since Netflix did this documentary series, and they came out and said, "Oh, we're happy. We're happy to swap." They actually said, "We're happy to reimagine history." That's not a documentary. If you're reimagining it, you're not they found like the 4 people who are like, well, she could have been black. And then you have the 99% you have the guy who found Cleopatra's tomb saying she was clearly of Egyptian, she was Greek Macedonian, which yes is darker skinned than an English Anglo-Saxon white person, but not black. She was Greek. She was Macedonian Greek. That's on the lightest side.
People can say that about. But people gonna say that. What is people to hit you with this? Giannis is Greek.
Giannis isn't Macedonian Greek. He's not
Well, I'm just
Macedonian.
saying,
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's
There's
levels of, and not to mention at that time, you look at the time period of Cleopatra. 99% of Macedonian Greeks were white, were white skinned. So to sit there and say, to trace her lineage back to that area and say, so in order to do that, she would be the like 1 in a million chance that, oh, they just found the one black person in Macedonian Greek culture, and they were like, yeah, and then she went to Egypt and became a ruler. No, that wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen. But that, like I said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is you have these people saying, well, we need more African American stories, so we're just going to reimagine them. If you need more stories, go look up actual African American queens and go tell their stories. Don't take somebody else's story.
Nobody will give the budget for it, Dietz. We know Hollywood. They're not going to give you no budget for it.
No, but you see what's happening now. You see what's happening in this documentary. This documentary is getting destroyed. I mean, yeah, it's great. People are clicking on. They have, and you can go to it right now. We're going to do this on the show tomorrow morning. We're going to go look at the documentary. We're going to go look at the trailer documentary, because the trailer has something like 2.5 million views, 25,000 likes, and 2.7 thousand. This, like, it is ratioed to hell with how many people are, because people don't want this garbage. Even people who are like, yes, I want to see more. I want to see more stories. Like, I want to see more African American stories. Or not even African American. I want to see more African tales. I want to see more Black culture. I want to see more of that. They want to see that culture. They don't want to see another culture co-opted. They don't want that. They want to see their own culture reflected. They don't want to see Cleopatra they don't want history reimagined.
They don't care. Netflix doesn't care. They're gonna do what they want.
Yeah, and Netflix doesn't care. And we're gonna show a lot of this tomorrow. But the memes.
I bet nobody cancels subscription about it.
The memes that this has generated are hilarious. I'm gonna get a whole lot of them, because I have a bunch of them on my Twitter. But like there have been memes of like Netflix documentary polar bears, and it's got a big grizzly bear on it. Then they've got another one of like what's it? Ryan Gosling. It shows Ryan Gosling, and then underneath it'll say a history of Barack Obama. Like these are the memes that this is generated, and like I said, this is what's happening, and all of this was because Jada Pinkett Smith felt they needed to be represented. If you felt that the representation was so important, go find a story. There are plenty of them. I'm sure if I gave it an afternoon, I'm sure I could come up with a bunch of. I'm sure I could come up with a handful of stories that you could put together. But no, they don't want to do that. So that's what we're going to be looking at. And then
before we end it though, Dietz, but who's going to get the funding for the movies? Who's going to give that major funding for those movies?
Oh, if again,
it gotta go through Hollywood producers.
Again,
so we gotta leave that alone.
If Jada, well, that says it right there.
Yeah.
If Jada Pinkett Smith thinks it's so important, then you don't think Jada Pinkett Smith has the money to produce something like that? Come on, she does.
Who's gonna produce?
She does.
Her money.
She has plenty. Yeah, she can put her money up. If she, again, if she thinks it's that, if you think it's that important, then you should. And again, that's the lie. That's the lie that they're telling you. The lie is it's so important that we have to do this. No, it was important to get the funding. Like you said, this show would not get made if they didn't pull the crap that they're pulling. And that's what tells you that the story is a joke. Because the story wouldn't sell on its own. You couldn't sell the story on its own, so you had to co-opt another story. And that's stupid. So that's going to be on Tuesday. So tomorrow we're gonna hash all this out and talk about how stupid and funny this is. Mm-hmm. And then Wednesday on Setting the Scene, the latest the last Flash trailer came out. So we'll watch that. And if you've been following this, obviously all the problems with Ezra Miller. Well, DC and WB, they know they can't sell. They know they can't sell this movie. They can't sell Ezra Miller. So if you watch this final trailer, it's basically Batman selling a Flash movie. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. The entire trailer is just Michael Keaton talking about Batman. The Flash is in it for maybe 2 seconds, and then at the end it says Flash. And we all know why. We all know why. It's because Ezra Miller is unsellable. No one wants to go to this. Everybody's going to go see this movie for Michael Keaton. Nobody's going to see it for Ezra. So we'll talk about that on Wednesday, and we'll get all of that. And then Thursday, Fifth Down Sports Show, we will have our official draft grades. We'll talk about the draft on Fifth Down Sports Show and get all of that done. So that's the week. That's the week in advance. So what do you got coming up, Rod?
I'm about to get ready for vacation. So this is going to be my last week. I got something maybe Wednesday. I got something tonight. That's about it for me. After this week, I'm going on vacation. I ain't coming back to maybe Thursday. So I'm taking a vacation, man. I gotta take a break. I put too much content out.
Awesome. Hey, that's what vacation's for, dude. Enjoy the vacation, and we'll do it all again when you get back, man.
All right, man. And this has been another episode of Midday Sports with Rod and Lunch Crew / Fifth Down Sport and Setting the Scene. Setting the Scenes. What time you starting? Tuesday and Wednesday for Setting the Scene.
Tuesday and Wednesday. We're probably gonna go. I'm gonna shoot for 10:30.
So 10:30.
Sure, for 10:30 with the live show. See how that works out. So.
Are you guys some guests?
That's what we're shooting. That's we're there. We have Setting the Scene. We have no plans. It is a free for all. If you want to be part of the show, come on in. If we don't get any guests, then we just go with the content that we have. But yeah, right. That's how it is. It's a free for all, and that's the way we want it. Because I don't want to have scheduled people come in. I want people to come in. I want people to come in and bring their flavor. I don't want them to feel that they have to talk about whatever we're talking about. If you want to be part of the show, come on in. Come on in, join the show, and bring us what you got. So that's the way we feel at Setting the Scene. That's the way we feel at Fifth Down. It's the way we're always going to run it. Is we talk about what we want, and if you want to talk, I've always said this isn't about me getting my voice out. This is about fans of all types. Whether you're a movie, comic book fan, whether you're a sports fan, whether you're I'm a Celtics fan. If you're a Lakers fan, I want to hear your stuff. So that's that's every show I'm on is basically going to be. If you're a fan, I want to hear your side. I want to hear your thoughts. So that's what we're going to do.
And also, guys, some podcasts is dropping. Also, so you can see Setting the Scene on Rods Uncensored Network. Also, we got Half Dad podcast coming in middle of May. Also, My Thoughts, My Opinions going to continue to be on there. Episode 3 should be dropping soon. Also, Random Thoughts, Random Adventures with Eric G is coming. It's going to be a cooking show. So we have other podcasts join the network. Look out for them. Also, if you're a content creator and you want your stuff, I don't care, you're an audio podcaster, I can chop it up and put it on the website on my channel. So any content creators looking for a network, I'm the guy for you. And that's all I got today. I appreciate Fifth Down coming on and telling his truths about the entertainment and sports. You know what I mean? As long as it's a healthy conversation, I'm down with having any conversation with anybody. But at the end of the day, I'm not a journalist. And we're out of here, man. Hopefully you have a good weekend, Dietz, and week.
Yeah, have a good one, man. And enjoy the vacation if I don't see you.
All right, man. We're out of here.
Man.